have a whole chapter in the book on perspectives on poverty, in which we review the debates that go way back for decades now between people on the left who say, if you have a lot of poor people, it's because society has let them down. It's government's fault. If we had a different, structure, social and economic structure, if private employers paid higher wages, if government did more, we wouldn't have all these poor people. And then you have people on the right saying, no, the problem is the poor people themselves. They don't work enough, they have babies outside of marriage, they get into trouble when they're young and they end up in prison. And we have basically an underclass with bad behaviors. Liberals say, well, that's blaming the victim. And conservatives respond, well, you just can't do all of this with government policy alone. And the chapter that we wrote about that tries to actually reflect both points of view and review that whole debate. And in the end, our own conclusion is it's some of both. I mean, it is partly behavior, and it is partly that it's very hard, even if you do all the right things. If you're making a very low wage, it's going to be very hard to support yourself and your family. So, and it's particularly going to be hard in times like these when the unemployment rate is close to 10%. We know that people may want to work and simply can't because there aren't enough jobs.
It's not only fashionable. Polls have consistently shown this, that people are sympathetic. In fact, we review evidence that there's even reason to think that genetically we're wired this way. We are wired to be compassionate. So it is possible for Americans to be concerned about poverty. We think it's even more possible and more likely for them to be concerned about opportunity. Not only do they have a basic feeling about compassion, but Americans historically have always believed in an equal shot for everybody. And that is what we emphasize even more than anti-poverty, is making sure that opportunity is there and every kid has a real chance to go as far as they can go. That Americans are very sympathetic with. And it's not difficult for Americans to understand that some kids start off much further behind. They may need extra, and Americans are willing to do that too. So I'm not nearly as pessimistic. I do think that there, from time to time, that we lose sight of poverty and we focus more on this or that. But the opportunity to bring it forth and to get political support for programs that will help increase opportunity in America, I think, is always present if we're sufficiently clever and use it properly, and above all, if we do it correctly and show results. That's where we really focus. We focus a lot of attention that we have evidence that this works, that this works, that this doesn't work. If we spend our money more wisely and American people could see more success, then they'd be more willing to support it.